Welcome everyone to Reverence with Pete, the podcast about life, love, and family.
I'm Elesa, and this is my husband, Trent.
I didn't know if I was supposed to introduce myself or not, so I paused.
No, it's okay. So we got a really cool, comment on one of our vlogs, like when we were messing up when we did our Let's Talk diet.
Oh, really?
That one, yeah. She goes, she loved the intro and how chaotic it was. It was just somebody that watched our video. And I was like, oh, thanks. Okay, cool. Because we're just being real. It's not scripted. Okay, anyway.
You didn't tell me that we got a comment?
I just did. I forgot until this very moment.
Elisa's in charge
of
all things.
Hold on, 1 second.
We good?
Yeah, do you remember which? Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to figure out. Talking to yours?
Okay, I'm the red one. I'm this one.
Okay, good. You did. Yeah, you did. I was just double checking because I was getting a lot of weird sound, but maybe it might just be my headphones. Anyway, please.
I was gonna say Elisa's in charge of editing, posting, and keeping me up to date, which is not working.
Well, I tried.
I'm just kidding. Well, thank you for telling me. Thank you for telling everyone out there.
You're welcome.
That was the comment.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if you're paraphrasing or not.
No, well, I mean, yeah, she said something else, but I don't remember the rest of it. I just remember the intro part. I can look it up later. Or actually, no, I can look it up now. I'm just going to do it now because if not, you're not going to leave it alone.
I won't. I do not let this kind of stuff go. So I do not know what we're talking about today.
Well, I was going to get to that, but now I have to do this first.
I know, but somebody has to talk while you're working on the computer side.
Tell people things.
So I think Elisa wrote down 2 topics on 2 different pieces of paper, and then she's going to show them to me, and I have to pick one quickly.
Good hello, winky smiley face. Fun to watch and informative as well. Keep going. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Here, I'm gonna respond to you right now. Boom. I don't know if I can read this. Hold on. I'm gonna mess up the handle. But I appreciate you. And I apologize if I messed this up, but Sibtane MSN, thank you. It's very sweet of you. And also, I would say other ones, but I think the other people that have commented have literally been one of my best friends, so
this is the first time with somebody you don't know?
Bias. Well, no, I think somebody else said something on our vlog, but I wasn't doing this yet. Like, we're still learning stuff, okay? Like, I don't know what to do and what not to do, all right? I really don't know. What also makes me really mad, I can see my bangs and look freaking amazing. And guess what? I'm gonna wake up tomorrow morning and they're not gonna look this good. And we've gotta go to church. I'm gonna have to try to replicate this and I won't be able to. Okay, that's all.
Wow, you went from a positive to, you know, it really makes me mad. Looking good in this current moment.
You're really, okay, do we need to fix something? Cause you're like kind of eating me. I just need a little bit of space cause I keep whacking myself down here.
Is that better?
A little bit, yes, thank you.
Goodness.
By myself, I mean my pregnancy belly. and it kind of hurts against the table. So I was like, I just need some room. Okay, I love you. I love holding your hand, but I felt like I was like this. Thank you, I appreciate that.
We have this problem all the time.
Oh my gosh. Oh, there it goes. Oh, praise God.
Okay, after that, let's get into the show. Thank you everyone for watching, listening, whatever you do. Let's get into it.
Okay, this is what we're doing. I have on here 2 pieces of paper. Can you close your eyes for a second?
Yes.
Because I'm going to show the camera.
Okay.
People watching. I have 2 topics written here. Is it going to take it? No, it's not. Why not? Okay, fine. Forget it. I'm not trying any harder. There's going to be 2 topics. I've seen this on TikTok. I guess this is a really cool idea to do, like, for date night, to be spontaneous, but in a way, because it's not just spontaneous for the one person.
Wait, time for my eyes.
Yes, you can open your eyes now. I'm sorry.
Sitting here with my eyes closed as you talk. Okay, I can see again.
Okay. Okay. So So he has to choose one. And whatever's on here is the topic we're going to be talking about tonight. So it is going to be, we definitely not prepared. And this is one that we didn't get to do in the first season. So I've carried it over into this season. There it is. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to fix my mic because it got a little messed up.
Okay, I cleaned off the desk because I had to put up a new monitor. Yes. And so I moved everything, and Elisa was not happy about it.
Well, I had everything perfect. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Okay, here we go. You have to choose.
Okay.
Ready? Go.
You have to show him, didn't you?
No, you're supposed... Oh, he wasn't even listening.
This is way worse. I thought you showed me and I had to like pick one really fast.
Wow, you're really hot. Okay, that's good.
Let's go with the bottom one.
We have to pull the bottom one out and then you get to read it.
This is why you eat practice.
No.
Okay. Singleness and marriage?
That's the topic.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we have experience in both. I feel like I echo a little bit.
Well, you're really staticky.
Okay. How's that? Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somehow the buttons got messed with. There we go. Oh my gosh, that's better for everybody.
Yeah. Adeline could have been up here and been messing with stuff. But okay. Well, we have experience in both. We have more experience in being single, but
your mic looks low for your mouth. Sorry, guys. Looks like it fell. There you go. Better? Okay, sorry. And again, yeah, if our daughter gets up here somehow, this stuff changes, so bear with us through the technical difficulties.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff happens on this desk. We can't just leave our mics up. We got to take them up and down and move stuff.
Yeah, sadly.
So, okay.
Okay, my voice is usually not that low, but anyway. Okay, so, yes, singleness and marriage. So what did you say about singleness? I kind of missed it. Like a hot
I said we have experience in both. We've been in both.
We have been, yeah, we have been. Oh, it might be too sharp. But we have been in both. Yes, we have. But like, I guess, oh, I didn't like that. Sorry. I guess what I would say is like we, I think I have more experience being single than I do, obviously being married, because we've only been married for 2.5 years. So.
Working on the big number 3. We're going to get there with 2 kids.
Can you believe it?
No, that's crazy. This is very distracting. She keeps messing with our sound, which is not a bad thing. We're trying to get good sound.
It's really hard sometimes. And I'm the only one doing this, and I have to also focus on things. Let's try that. Okay. I'm going to probably keep messing with it because it could have gotten hit or something. Anyway, okay. Do you sound good in your ear?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. All right. Anyways,
we promised by the 10th episode of season 2, we will not be messing with the soundboard anymore.
You can't say that. We have a daughter that could get up here and mess and ruin.
No, she will not get up here and mess anything anymore.
Ruin.
She doesn't ruin stuff. She just messes with it. She doesn't know. She's not trying to sabotage the show.
No.
She's not up in bed right now being like, haha.
No, I just mean like she has moments where she sits here and, I mean, I tell her no for something and she like looks at me and then she does it anyway. You know how kids do that?
Yeah, she's testing us to see where the boundaries actually are. Wait, do they actually mean what they say?
Right.
And that's what they need. They need to know, oh yes, mommy and daddy said this.
Right.
So.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we actually have to follow through.
Yes, okay.
And we do.
We do. Okay.
Okay, singleness and marriage. This was one from season 1?
Yes, this is one that you chose. These are one of your topics that we didn't get to, so therefore I brought them in.
Okay, no, that's good. A lot of the shows from season 1, were thoughts I had when I was listening to Jordan Peterson podcast. So I don't know what this one was or what the context was. So I guess I'm just gonna have to kind of riff and wing it because I don't know what I was thinking at the time.
Well, I'm also gonna bring in some biblical stuff.
Well, yeah, we're Christians, so we need to go back to the Word whenever we can. I mean, that's where we get all of our guidance from. And so
talk about sex. That's what I landed on. Biblical, okay, people? Come on.
Okay.
My husband's like, shut up. You've never said that to me. I'm just kidding.
This is a weird episode, guys. just bear with us. Comment and say that it's weird, but
be honest.
Oh no.
It's okay.
That is my door alarm. I have to make sure I lock all the doors because I'm still not used to that.
Got it.
Okay, you ready? Or do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, you keep talking. Do you have anything you want to say? If not, I found...
Yeah, go ahead, do your thing.
Okay. Okay. Well, the Bible talks about relationships of like all kinds, but I use the Message Bible, and I mentioned this before on our different social media platforms. I love it. It has Eugene H. Peterson's notes within it, but because in the back there's like an index and it breaks stuff down, and it just makes it a little bit nicer. I hate that I'm popping on those P's. I'm so sorry. I don't like that. Okay, so this is what it said. Okay, Proverbs 21:9. Better to live alone in a tumble-down shack than share a mansion with a nagging spouse. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you can't... God obviously intended for the majority of people to get married. It's not for everyone.
No,
because of that right there. You can't force it. You can't just be like, well, God said in Genesis to take dominion over the world and to do it, and you do that by having kids, at least part of it. But again, that's not everyone's calling. You can't force it. It's all in God's timing, and so you just have to rely on Him that if you are meant to be single, that He's going to be the one who provides that. He's going to be the other half. He's how you're going to. Because in our marriage, a big thing that we have, like we have somebody to bounce ideas off of, to talk to stuff about, to grow with. Hey, babe, I didn't like how you said that, or baby, you should think about just getting a different perspective, which is great. So if you're single, you don't have that. You have to do it yourself. You have to put in extra work and go and dive, and you have to be more self-critical because you don't have those other people to point things out to you. And so it's good to have godly friends because they can do that to some degree and help you get your characters. Because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you're missing. You don't know, like I said, you don't know what you don't know. So if you have a flaw, you can't always point it out yourself or figure it out yourself or fix it yourself. It's always great to have other people. And when you live with somebody and they're always there, then that just happens more regularly.
Yes.
Okay.
What you were saying at the beginning fits with this next verse, and so I was just going to add that piece of information. 1 Corinthians 7:7-8. Sometimes I wish everyone were single like me, a simpler life in many ways. But celibacy is not for everyone any more than marriage is. God gives the gift of the single life to some and the gift of the married life to others. I do, though, tell the unmarried and widows that singleness might well be the best thing for them, as it has been for me. I'm sorry, I'm trying. Paul, right? Wrote the Corinthians? Okay, Paul.
Is it Paul or is it Saul? Dun, dun, dun. Okay, it's Paul. Don't even go there.
You already went there.
I know, it's too late. No, it's Paul, and he was single, and what?
This is for my sister.
Huh?
Paul is Saul. Saul is Paul. Okay, she'll understand. It's an inside joke. Nobody else is going to get that. That's fine. Please continue.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the old monks and stuff, they were all celibate. They didn't get married. They were all single. And yeah, they were all fine. I mean, it's where God has you. Why are you single? Because you're immature and you can't actually go with somebody else? Or are you single because God just hasn't brought the right person into your life yet?
Yeah, and I think like if we interviewed some of my family members or friends on this, I think they'd all have a different take on it. And the only thing I can speak for is myself. I had probably 2 or 3 relationships before I met you. The first one is what ruined the next 2 and made bad decisions in my life and in dating spiral downward.
And we're back.
Okay, we stopped for technical difficulties and conversation, all of that lovely stuff.
It's very good. We're better now.
We are better now.
We're better people. What? I feel like a better person.
I do. Yeah. Okay. I'll finish what I was saying.
Good.
I picked up and I said, I think the last thing I was saying, I said it just, and then we stopped. So what I was saying was the revelation that God brought me through was eye-opening in the fact that when you connect with somebody intellectually, spiritually, and emotionally, it hurts in a way where it intimidated my physical attraction. I know that probably doesn't make any sense. Maybe it does make sense. But I felt like because the physical part of the relationship, holding hands, kissing, all that stuff was missing in that first relationship, I felt like, well, that's why it didn't work. So I need to give more. I need to have a relationship that has the physicalness, that has, the guy that I can date is right there. We can physically go out on dates, blah, 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 blah. No, God brought me to this revelation that you need the emotional, the spiritual, the intellectual connection before you have a physical connection. Yes, you're going to have a physical attractiveness, but before you hold hands, before you kiss, before you do any of that, because when I started dating Trent, it took him till our third or fourth date, and it took him an entire Dark Knight movie to hold my hand, to hold my hand, and I'm like, oh, what? Okay, it took him like a week and a half, close to 2 weeks, because after 3 weeks we were engaged. I think close to the 2-week mark that he finally kissed me. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, like, why doesn't he want to kiss me? What's wrong with blah, blah? Nothing was wrong with me. He was respecting me the way that God had intended. We had connected on our Christian faith, and we had connected on an intellectual level, and we connected emotionally, trying to understand each other and how his man brain worked, how my woman brain. I mean, we're still figuring that out. These things are you're never going to fully figure it out before you get married. I'm just going to say that right now. That's not going to happen. But in the other 2 relationships before I met him, I lost in sight of and forgot about how important the intellectual, the emotional, and spiritual connection is. The first guy I dated was agnostic. Big mistake. Because that's why we ended up breaking up, because we were never going to see eye to eye on belief, and that really damages people. Now, some people can make it work. Some people bring people to the Lord. I was not one of those people. The next guy, he was a Christian, but in ways that were our culture didn't line up. I guess honestly, I was just too American. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I just was too Americanized, I think. And there were things too that I just didn't feel like intellectually or emotionally, like there weren't things that we were truly connected on. And then I met Trent. But in that time when I was sitting with God and trying to figure out where it all went wrong, it went wrong with that first relationship. And God walked me through that revelation. And he goes, Elesa, singleness is hard. Yes, and I said this for people who are intended to be married, but singleness is hard when we forget what we're supposed to be learning and preparing for in our singleness. And God actually speaks on that in here, and I want to read it because this actually is going to probably put into words what I'm trying to say. God's going to say perfectly. Let me get that really quick, sorry. I should read the one about parenting. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, it says, okay, I want you to live as free of complications as possible. When you're unmarried, you're free to concentrate on simply pleasing the master, simply pleasing God. Marriage involves you in
and all the nuts and bolts of domestic life and in wanting to please your spouse, leading to so many more demands on your attention. The time and energy that married people spend on caring for and nurturing each other, the unmarried can spend in becoming whole and holy instruments of God. I'm trying to be helpful and make it as easy as possible for you, not to make things harder. All I want is for you to be able to develop a way of life in which you can spend plenty of time together with God, with the Master, without a lot of distractions. And that's in 1 Corinthians 7:32-35. I think that puts what God took me through in that revelation. I was looking at singleness the way our culture looks at singleness, and I was forgetting to look at singleness on how God sees it. It's a time to prepare you to either be the perfect wife to God only, for those that aren't supposed to be married, or the perfect wife for your future spouse. And that was my revelation. I realized, wow, getting so broken and damaged, I turned away from God and went to culture's singleness mindset instead of turning into God and looking at it through this lens right here. Of in that singleness, my relationship with God could have grown so much. I made the decisions I made. I gotta live with it. I let them mold me and grow me, and hopefully they'll encourage my children, and I can be, or through this, like, look, I'm not perfect. These are the mistakes I make as well, blah, blah, blah. But there is nothing wrong with being single, as long as we remember to look at it in the form of, look at the opportunity we have to better our relationship with God, to better our relationship with those around us, to better our relationships with ourselves, to see ourselves as the King in heaven sees us, and to see ourselves as we should see ourselves, is this beautiful masterpiece, and not go looking for it elsewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yes. No. Okay. It makes sense.
Okay.
God didn't make us to be single, and we never are. We can think we are if we don't believe in God, if we push him to the side, if we don't give him the time we need. But we're not. God did not make us to be single. It's either him or him and a spouse. Because even if you're not married and have God, you're still single. You're not going to develop the way he wants you to. You're not going to live the kind of life that God demands. And none of us can. Like, this, part of the beautiful things about being a Christian is we know we can't, but it also doesn't mean we don't try, or that we can just be like, oh, I can't live perfectly, so you keep on saying, God saves everyone. He knows your heart. He knows everyone.
Don't get distracted.
So you should have told me that before I looked over there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We talked about life being an experiment, and that's one way that we're trying to live, that you go through this life and you have to try things back and forth, and you're never going to get it right, but you can get close, and you always have to go back and lean on God. And if you have a spouse, lean on your spouse. You two are supposed to lean on each other and always point each other to God. But in that experiment, you're never alone if you believe in God. And I think that's a difference between the Christian's view of singleness and the world's view of singleness. If you're coming at it through culture, you're just like, everything is, you're alone and you have no one to talk to. You have no one to, who cares enough about you to put the time in. You can have friends, but they can walk away. You can walk away if you're a friend. I'm sure everyone's had a friend where you needed somebody. You need somebody to talk to, and there was just nobody there. Well, you have that if you're God. You're not truly single. Not if you're God, but if you know God.
Yes. No, I agree. I think of a few people, like in my life, or like family and non-family, just people that I know we've gotten to know at church, and yeah, they've chosen God, and that's what God intended for them, and they have this beautiful relationship. Because also, like that verse I read previously said, your attention is pulled. God knew it. Now, God designed marriage, and he knows this, and the most important thing is to remember the balance in marriage, which is God has to still be at the center. You still have to give God the time that he requires of you, for you. Actually, well, you need of God, honestly, so you also feel like just balanced and good and all that jazz. But you also have to give that time to your spouse. And if you have kids, now you're giving your time to your kids, so then you have to make sure too your kids don't become the top of the triangle, because then everything's off balance. Your spouse is feeling neglected, your relationship with God is neglected, and you're pouring then from an empty well. You have nothing. And God is, again, I'm not trying to be cheesy, but like it's true, but God is living water. He is all that we need. And so when we start with him, or come back to him when we're like, crap, I've been doing this by myself, and now because I've been doing this or trying to do this by myself, I feel like crud, I feel empty, whatever. It's because your whole pyramid, your whole setup of your relationship has become off balance. And to say more on what Trent was saying about marriage, Matthew 19, 11 through 12, which I remember reading this because I studied the entire book of Matthew and it was fun. Jesus said, not everyone is mature enough to live a married life. It requires a certain aptitude and grace. Marriage isn't for everyone. Some, from birth, seemingly never give marriage a thought. Others never get asked or accepted, and some decide not to get married for kingdom reasons. But if you're capable of growing into the largeness of marriage, do it. I don't think there's much more I can add to that.
I mean, if Jesus says it, it's kind of hard to argue with him or say it any more starkly.
No.
You heard it here first. Do it.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But also serious.
Because, like, when you set a relationship, and I like this, I think it was Jordan Peterson that said this, and I'm not going to be able to say it word for word because I can't find it. That's what I was trying to find on the computer. He has a series going on about marriage, and we've watched the first episode, and it's amazing. This man is literally so brilliant. But when you are married and you've entered a marriage, it is going to be one of the hardest things you've ever done, because you don't get to walk away, in a sense. I'm not going down the divorce route. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to no, that's not what I'm saying. I mean, like, when you are in this marriage, like Trent and I are in this marriage now, a biblical one.
Not a cultural one.
Yes.
Not one the government has a finger in.
Right. A biblical one. You, like Jesus says here, the largeness of marriage. Marriage is so complicated, but it is so worth it if, like Jesus is saying, if you are willing to take this on, do it. But what you're taking on is a lot to swallow. And I'm not going to lie, like Trent and I have been married for 2.5 years now. And yeah, we have arguments. Yeah, we have frustrating moments. Yeah, we have amazing, positive moments. Yes, we have beautiful moments. We have two, I know, beautiful, well, I mean, we do have one, but we have 2 beautiful daughters. And with all of that being said, there is still so much to marriage that I do not understand and that I do not get, and I probably won't. I probably will look back 50 years from now and be like, oh man, yeah, I've learned so much. But I know I'm going to one day die, go to heaven, and sit here and go, well, I just learned a whole lot more because now I'm in this perfect place. I will constantly be learning what it takes to be married, and the work and the effort, the extra and over communication you have to have, the hard work that it takes to make sure that your spouse knows how loved and appreciated and valued they are, that you're taking time for your spouse and you're not putting your kids above them, and you're not, again, the relationship thing I talked about. Marriage, a biblical spiritual marriage, is a beautiful thing, but it is hard work, and you have to be willing to put in the effort to keep making it work.
Mm-hmm.
I like what this guy says too on Instagram. I forget his main name, but I remember his handle. It's called Upset the Gram. And he speaks about marriage and he talks and starts, everybody's always in the honeymoon phase. It's when the honeymoon phase ends that the real work of marriage sets in, and a lot of people, they get scared, they get nervous, they want to back out, or the reality sets in. That's when the hard work sets in of continuously making those romantic moments or the honeymoon moments happen, or the reality of bills to be paid, or you've got kids, you've got carpool, you've got whatever going on your plate, you're working a 9 to 5, 8 to 5, whatever job, or if you're a stay-at-home mom, you're working 24/7, then you've got these things, right, that you have to just realize that you've got to put in the work for these things. That the honeymoon phase ends. It doesn't mean you don't love that person. It's a whole nother level of love that sets in when you get married and you set forth in that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. And then, I hope that all made sense.
Mm-hmm. Is that all you have to read?
I'm not sure. Do you have anything you want to say?
I don't know. I mean, we could probably go on for another couple hours, but I don't know if we need to.
I don't think we need to. I don't want to beat this subject to death or over.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. If you're single now, you're in that place for a reason, and don't be looking to get out of it just because other people have, or because there's a lot of perks to being married. And don't just settle either. For any relationship, always know where you want it to go. Don't just date someone to be dating someone. I mean, you're gonna have to at least once, but if there's something goes, or you have any questions or any, I don't know why he said that, or I don't know if he's serious, I don't know why he's dating me or why she's dating me. I don't know, it's something you can talk about the next date. And if you scare them off, then they obviously weren't the right person. That's, I think, part of our story was I told Elesa I loved her before I kissed her, and I think that was a positive for you. I'm not saying it has to be for everyone, but I was serious. I knew. I went into that first date being like, well, if there's a second date, then that means I could marry her. And there was a second date, and now 2 kids.
Yes. 3 weeks of dating before you proposed.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that
3 huge long weeks. Oh my gosh.
I know that this one definitely is a heavier topic, and I think I finally found what Jordan Peterson said, at least one of the things. He says, successful relationships are all about creating a space where the boundaries are clearly defined and each partner can trust the other to be completely open about their thoughts, feelings, and experiences. That's not the full one that I wanted, but that is one of the things that he has said. It's not the specific one that I wanted. But I do believe that that's also true. You're not here to tear the other person down. You're going through this messy, beautiful, amazing thing together, and you're trying to figure out how to do it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. This is a deep and hard topic just because of the way our culture sees marriage or dating or sex. It's because that's what we consume a lot of. We consume a lot of media and entertainment, and that's how they all portray it. And so it's hard to get out of that mindset of, okay, no, wait, what does God actually say? What is marriage actually for? What is sex actually for? And what is singleness actually for? Is singleness just a time to run around and have as much fun as you possibly can? No, it's your whole life is pointing you towards something. So what is that? How can you be the best person you can? How can you help future generations? How can you help the people you're around now? And is it just running around and having as much fun as possible? No, that's not.
I guess it depends on what you mean by fun. We're not saying, at least I don't think you're saying.
I'm not saying don't go out and experience the world. Don't go out
yeah,
and travel and meet people and
experience
stuff. But don't experience stuff where you're going to have regrets afterwards.
Right. And like
especially if you're aiming towards marriage.
Yeah, because if not, those are regrets, like I was saying, bad decision. Those are things you've got to come to terms with and live with and then eventually bring into your future spouse and tell them. You've got to tell them. And you've got to relive all of that again. And so sometimes it helps you stop and think twice, but sometimes you do. You got to make the mistake to learn the lesson. You just then better be able to, once the mistake is made,
own up to it.
Own up to it and tell your husband or wife and realize that if they are the person that God has designed them to, they are going to see you and forgive you and love you the way Jesus forgave you and loves you. But that is something you have to be upfront and honest with them about.
Yeah, I mean, we all have a past. We were all single. We all had this time in our lives where we weren't married. Obviously. Yeah, your past is what brought you to the place you're at now. And so you both have to love it and hate it. This is an imperfect world. You have to love all of it because it brought you to where you are now. And you have to hate it because you don't want to make the same mistakes you did in the past. And so it's just learning from it and giving yourself grace. Nobody's perfect. Don't use that as an excuse, but it's true. It is. It's a paradox. God forgives everything, but it doesn't mean you keep on sinning without trying.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain.
You're doing a pretty good job. This is a tough topic. But yeah, I'll come. We can start wrapping up. This is, like I figured, going to be one of our longer ones just because it is such an intense topic. And there's things that we've said that maybe we didn't say as clearly. Please just give us some grace. It is late at night and we are parents. And there are things that maybe we didn't explain as clearly as maybe we would have liked to. But I know we will talk about marriage again. There's nothing wrong with being single and there's nothing wrong with being married. Just know both do require hard work. Both require a relationship with that is wrapped in honesty and openness and communication. We just have the take on our faith and our Christianity that we throw into the singleness and throw into the marriage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any other thoughts you have?
No. We're about to hit 40 minutes. I think we're good.
Okay, great. All right. Well, if you guys survived listening to all this, we really appreciate it. Obviously, sometimes they're long, sometimes they're short. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. As always, like, subscribe, or rate us on Apple or Spotify. Leave comments. We love hearing from you guys. We appreciate everything. And we just hope that, that you guys continue to listen and to watch. We've constantly got new content randomly coming out. We're not as set on a schedule this time as we were the first season, but yes, just stay tuned. We appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
For whatever we're going to end up calling you, rinsies, repeaters. I don't know.
We'll just call you the peeps.
The peeps.
No, I'm just kidding. I hate that.
I know. Okay.
The people.
Who listen to this show?
No, just the people.
I'm Elesa.
I'm Trent. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next time at an unspecified time.